Hello, everyone. Let me ask you a question. What separates the extraordinary from the ordinary? What makes some people dare to live the life they dream about while others settle for something less? Today, we're talking about why the 2% do and the 98% don't. Now, I love to tell stories, so let me share one. Years ago, I met a woman who said, "Oprah, I watch your show every day, and every time you say we can live our best lives, I want to believe you, but I just don't know how." And that right there is where most people's lives stuck between wanting more and not believing it's possible. But let me tell you something. The 2%, oh, they believe, they dream, they act. The power of belief is where it all begins. It is the foundation, the spark, the very core of every single dream that has ever come true. Let me tell you, belief is not just about thinking positively or wishing for things to get better. Belief is deeper than that. It's a force, a conviction, a knowing deep inside you that says, I can and I will. Think about this. Every great achievement in history began as a thought in someone's mind. Someone dared to believe in the impossible, dared to see a reality that didn't yet exist, dared to say, why not me? That belief is what propels people forward, even when the odds are stacked against them. Because here's the thing about belief, it doesn't eliminate obstacles, it doesn't remove fear, but it gives you the strength to keep moving forward, even when everything in your life is telling you to stop. Belief is powerful because it reshapes how you see yourself. If you believe you are capable, you begin to act like someone who is capable. If you believe you are worthy, you begin to carry yourself with the dignity and confidence of someone who knows they deserve more. But if you don't believe, if you doubt yourself, if you let fear and insecurity dictate your life, then even the most incredible opportunities will pass you by. Why? Because belief is the key that unlocks every door. And belief isn't just about thinking big. It's also about trusting yourself in the small, everyday moments. It's about believing you can wake up early, show up for that workout, finish that project, or start that business. It's about believing you can ask for help, take a risk, try something new, or even fail and still keep going. It's the belief that you don't have to be perfect to be worthy. But here's the thing, belief isn't something that just magically appears. It's something you build. It's something you nurture. Because let's be honest, we all have moments when we don't feel strong, when doubt creeps in and whispers, what if you're not good enough? What if you can't do it? Those moments are when the power of belief matters most. Building belief starts with your thoughts. What are you telling yourself every day? What are the words running through your mind? Are they words that empower you or words that tear you down? Because your mind will believe whatever you tell it. If you say, I'm not ready, your mind will find evidence to prove that's true. But if you say, I've got this, your mind will go to work finding ways to make it happen. And belief grows stronger with action. You don't wait to believe in yourself fully before you take the first step. You take the first step scared, unsure, maybe even doubting yourself a little, but you take it anyway. And with every step, with every small victory, your belief grows. That's how it works. Belief and action feed each other. And let's not forget, belief is contagious. The people you surround yourself with play a huge role in either building your belief or tearing it down. If you're around people who doubt themselves, who complain about their circumstances, who say things like, that's not possible, guess what? That negativity will seep into your own mindset. But if you surround yourself with people who dream big, who encourage you, who challenge you to go further than you think you can, that energy will lift you higher. Belief is also about resilience. It's easy to believe in yourself when everything is going right, but true belief is tested in the hard times, in the failures, in the moments when it feels like nothing is working. Those are the moments when belief becomes your anchor, your lifeline. It's what keeps you standing when the storms of life try to knock you down. And let me tell you, this belief is not reserved for the chosen few. It's not just for the people with the perfect lives, the perfect resources, or the perfect circumstances. Belief is for anyone willing to claim it. It's for the person who wakes up every morning and says, I don't care what the world says. I don't care what the odds are. I believe in me. Belief transforms everything. It changes how you see challenges. Instead of seeing them as barriers, you see them as stepping stones. It changes how you see time. Instead of thinking it's too late, you start saying it's never too late. It changes how you see yourself. You stop waiting for permission and start realizing you've had the power all along. Belief is not about being fearless. It's not about knowing all the answers. It's about trusting that no matter what happens, you have the strength to figure it out, the courage to keep going, and the power to create the life you dream of. Owning your story is one of the most powerful things you will ever do in your life. It's not easy, and it's not always comfortable, but it is necessary. Because here's the truth, your story is who you are. It's the roadmap of where you've been, the challenges you've faced, and the lessons you've learned. It's not something to hide, to run from, or to be ashamed of. It's something to embrace, to honor, and to let guide you toward your purpose. Too many people go through life trying to escape their story. They want to forget the pain, erase the mistakes, and pretend the hard times never happened. But when you reject your story, you reject a part of yourself. You lose the power, the wisdom, and the resilience that comes from everything you've been through. Owning your story doesn't mean you have to love every chapter. It doesn't mean you celebrate the heartbreak, the loss, or the failures. But it does mean you acknowledge them, you learn from them, and you use them to become stronger. Your story is your truth, and there is nothing more liberating than living in that truth. Because when you own your story, you stop hiding. You stop pretending to be someone you're not. You stop worrying about what other people think of you because you know that their opinions don't define your worth. Your story is what makes you unique, and it's what gives you the power to connect with others in a real and meaningful way. Think about the people who inspire you the most. Are they the ones who seem perfect, who never admit their struggles, who pretend they have it all figured out? No. The people who inspire you are the ones who are real, the ones who are vulnerable, the ones who have the courage to say, this is me, this is where I come from. This is what I've been through, and this is how I've grown. That kind of authenticity is magnetic. It draws people in, it builds trust, and it shows others that they're not alone in their own struggles. Owning your story is also about taking responsibility. It's about saying, yes, this happened to me. Yes, it was hard. But I am not a victim of my circumstances. I am the author of my life, and I get to decide how this story ends. When you own your story, you stop blaming other people, your past, or your circumstances for where you are. You take control of your narrative, and you start writing a new chapter. And let's talk about shame. Shame is one of the biggest barriers to owning your story. Shame tells you that your story isn't good enough, that you're not good enough, that you have to keep parts of yourself hidden because people won't understand, or worse, they'll judge you. But here's the thing about shame, it can only survive in silence. When you speak your truth, when you share your story, shame loses its power. It's like turning on a light in a dark room suddenly. All those fears that felt so big and overwhelming start to shrink. Owning your story also means owning the parts you're still working on. None of us are finished products. None of us have everything figured out. And that's okay. There's strength in saying, I'm a work in progress and I'm proud of the progress I've made. When you own your story, you give yourself permission to grow, to evolve, and to become the best version of yourself. And don't underestimate the impact your story can have on others. Sometimes we think our struggles disqualify us from helping others or making a difference. But it's often those very struggles that give us the empathy, the understanding, and the wisdom to lift someone else up. Your story could be the thing that inspires someone else to own their story, to find their strength, and to believe that they too can overcome. Owning your story is also about finding the lessons in every experience. Even the painful moments, even the times when you felt lost or broken, have something to teach you. When you own your story, you start to see those moments not as things that happened to you, but as things that happened for you. You start to realize that every challenge was preparing you for something greater, every setback was setting you up for a comeback, and every closed door was redirecting you to something better. It's about seeing your story not just as a collection of events, but as a testament to your resilience, your courage, and your ability to overcome. It's about recognizing that your story doesn't define you, but it does shape you. It gives you the tools, the perspective, and the strength to face whatever comes next. And owning your story doesn't mean you have to share it with everyone. It's not about putting all your business out there for the world to see. It's about being honest with yourself first. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, this is who I am, and I'm proud of how far I've come. Whether you choose to share your story or keep it private, what matters is that you embrace it, that you own it, and that you let it guide you toward the life you deserve. Owning your story is not a one-time thing. It's a practice, a process, and a journey. There will be days when it feels hard, when you wish your story was different, when you're tempted to slip back into hiding. But every time you choose to stand in your truth, every time you choose to own your story, you get stronger. You become more confident, more empowered, and more aligned with who you truly are. Consistency is the foundation upon which every success story is built. It's not the flash of brilliance, the occasional burst of energy, or the rare moment of inspiration that creates lasting change. It's the steady, deliberate, unrelenting commitment to showing up every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on around you, and no matter how small the progress might seem. Here's the truth: talent will only take you so far. Intelligence, skill, or even opportunity mean very little if they aren't paired with consistency. Why? Because consistency is what transforms potential into reality. It's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who started with the most. They are the ones who committed to doing the work, day in and day out, without excuses. Consistency is powerful because it creates momentum. Think about a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small, slow, and unimpressive. But as it keeps rolling, it grows larger and faster, gaining more and more energy along the way. That's exactly how consistency works. The small actions you take every day might not seem like much at first, but over time they compound. They build on each other, creating a force that becomes unstoppable. But here's the thing about consistency: it's not glamorous, it's not exciting, it's not the stuff that makes headlines or goes viral. Consistency is waking up early to work on your goals when you'd rather sleep in. It's staying late to finish the job when no one is watching. It's doing the same thing over and over again until it becomes second nature, even when it feels tedious, even when it feels boring. And that's where most people struggle. We live in a world that celebrates quick fixes and instant gratification. Everywhere you look, there's someone promising a shortcut, a hack, or an easy way out. But consistency doesn't work like that. Consistency doesn't give you overnight results. It requires patience, discipline, and trust in the process. It asks you to keep going, even when you don't see the results right away, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Let me tell you something about consistency: it's not about perfection. So many people give up because they think they have to be perfect. They miss one workout, and they say, well, I guess I failed. They make one mistake, and they think, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But consistency isn't about never falling off track. It's about getting back on track every time you do. It's about having the courage to start again and again and again, as many times as it takes. Consistency also teaches you resilience. Life will throw obstacles in your way. There will be distractions, challenges, and setbacks. There will be days when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're doubting yourself and wondering if it's even worth it. But consistency trains you to push through those moments. It shows you that you are stronger than your excuses, that you can keep going even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. And consistency isn't just about working hard, it's also about working smart. It's about creating systems and habits that make success inevitable. When you build routines that support your goals, you take the guesswork out of the equation. You don't have to rely on motivation or willpower because you've already set yourself up for success. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't think about it. You just do it because it's part of your daily routine. That's what consistency looks like in action. Consistency also builds trust. Not just trust in yourself, but trust from others. When you consistently show up, when you consistently deliver, when you consistently honor your commitments, people start to see you as reliable, dependable, and capable. They start to believe in you because they see that you believe in yourself, and that trust opens doors, creates opportunities, and builds relationships that can take you further than you ever imagined. And let's not forget about the ripple effect. When you're consistent, you inspire others to be consistent too. Your actions create a ripple that spreads far beyond you. You might not even realize it, but someone is watching you. Someone is seeing the way you show up, the way you keep going, the way you refuse to give up. And because of you, they're finding the strength to keep going too. But let me tell you, this consistency doesn't mean you have to do everything at once. It's not about overwhelming yourself with 100 goals and trying to tackle them all at the same time. Consistency is about focusing on the small, manageable steps you can take every day. It's about progress, not perfection. It's about doing what you can with what you have, where you are, and trusting that those small steps will add up to something extraordinary over time. And here's the beauty of consistency: it builds confidence. Every time you show up for yourself, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted, that you are capable, that you are worthy of the life you're working toward. That confidence becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more consistent you are, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the more consistent you are. It's a cycle that lifts you higher and higher. Consistency isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who achieves goals. It's about developing the discipline, the work ethic, and the character to keep going no matter what. It's about proving to yourself every single day that you are capable of greatness. It's about showing up for yourself even when it's hard, because you know that you are worth the effort. And let's be clear, consistency doesn't mean you'll never fail. You will fail. You will fail. You will fall short. You will have moments when you want to quit. But consistency teaches you that failure isn't the end. It's just a part of the process. It's a stepping stone on the path to success. Every time you fall and get back up, you're building resilience. Every time you try again, you're getting stronger. Every time you keep going, you're proving to yourself that you have what it takes. Consistency is the key because it unlocks doors that talent alone never could. It's not about being the best, it's about being relentless. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing something consistently. It's about showing up every day in every way, because you know that the life you want is worth it. The people you surround yourself with are not just part of your environment, they are part of your energy. They shape your thoughts, your habits, your beliefs, and ultimately your destiny. Who you surround yourself with matters, because the company you keep can either lift you higher or pull you down. It can either inspire you to dream bigger or convince you to settle for less. Think about this. Every person in your life has an influence on you, whether you realize it or not. Some people bring light, encouragement, and positivity. They challenge you to be better, to think differently, to step out of your comfort zone. Others bring doubt, negativity, and fear. They tell you why you can't do something, why it won't work, or why you should give up. And the more time you spend with someone, the more their energy starts to rub off on you. This is why it's so important to surround yourself with people who align with the life you want to create. If you want to grow, you need to be around people who value growth. If you want to be successful, you need to be around people who are striving for success. If you want to be positive, you need to be around people who radiate positivity. Because here's the truth, it's hard to fly when the people around you are dragging you down. And let's talk about support. The people you surround yourself with should believe in you, even on the days when you don't believe in yourself. They should see your potential, even when you can't. They should remind you of who you are and what you're capable of, especially when you're doubting yourself. The right people in your life will hold you accountable, not in a way that makes you feel judged or criticized, but in a way that makes you feel empowered. They'll push you to keep going when you want to quit, and they'll celebrate your victories as if they were their own. Now, let's be real, surrounding yourself with the right people sometimes means letting go of the wrong ones. And that's not easy. We all have relationships in our lives that feel comfortable, familiar, and even safe, but not all of those relationships are healthy. Some people hold us back, not because they're bad people, but because they're stuck in their own fear, their own insecurity, or their own limitations. They project their doubts onto us because they haven't figured out how to overcome their own. You have to ask yourself, are the people in my life helping me grow, or are they keeping me small? Are they lifting me up, or are they dragging me down? Are they pouring into me, or are they draining me? These are tough questions, but they're necessary. Because the people you choose to surround yourself with will either fuel your fire or extinguish it. And it's not just about what people say to you, it's also about what they show you. Look at the actions, habits, and mindsets of the people closest to you. Are they living the kind of life you aspire to? Are they setting an example of discipline, perseverance, and self-belief? Or are they stuck in a cycle of excuses, procrastination, and complacency? Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Their energy, their mindset, and their habits will inevitably influence your own. But let's not forget, this goes both ways. Just as you need people in your life who inspire and uplift you, you also need to be that person for others. You need to bring value to the relationships you're a part of. Are you showing up as a source of encouragement, motivation, and positivity? Or are you bringing negativity, criticism, and doubt into the lives of those around you? The energy you give is just as important as the energy you receive. And here's another thing, surrounding yourself with the right people doesn't always mean finding new friends or cutting ties with old ones. Sometimes it means setting boundaries. It means protecting your energy and prioritizing your growth, even if others don't understand. It means saying no to relationships or behaviors that no longer serve you, even if it's uncomfortable. It means choosing yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a way that honors your goals, your values, and your potential. It also means seeking out people who challenge you, not in a way that tears you down, but in a way that pushes you to rise higher. Growth doesn't happen in comfort, and the right people in your life will stretch you. They'll encourage you to think bigger, dream bolder, and work harder. They'll point out your blind spots, not to criticize you, but to help you improve. They'll give you tough love when you need it, but they'll also remind you of your worth when you forget. And don't underestimate the power of diversity. Surrounding yourself with the right people doesn't mean surrounding yourself with people who are exactly like you. In fact, some of the most valuable relationships you'll ever have are with people who see the world differently. People who have different perspectives, experiences, and ideas. These are the people who will challenge your assumptions, expand your thinking, and help you grow in ways you never imagined. But here's the thing, you have to be intentional. The right people don't just magically appear in your life. You have to seek them out, nurture those relationships, and create an environment where growth is the norm. That might mean joining a community of like-minded individuals, finding a mentor, or simply being more mindful about who you spend your time with. And remember, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. It's better to have a small circle of people who truly support you than a large group of acquaintances who don't really care. The size of your circle doesn't matter. What matters is the strength of the connections within it. Taking responsibility is one of the most profound shifts you can make in your life. It's not about taking the blame, nor is it about carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. It's about owning your choices, your actions, and your responses to the things that happen to you. It's about stepping into your power and realizing that while you may not control everything that happens, you have complete control over how you respond to it. Taking responsibility begins with understanding that you are the author of your own story. Every decision you make, every step you take, shapes the direction of your life. Too often, people give away their power by blaming their circumstances, other people, or even bad luck for where they are. They say things like, I can't do this because of my past, or I'm stuck because of what someone else did. But when you refuse to take responsibility, you give away the power to change your life. Taking responsibility is about refusing to be a victim of your circumstances. It's about saying, this happened and it was hard, but I'm not going to let it define me. I'm not going to let it hold me back. It's about recognizing that even when things are out of your control, you still have control over your mindset, your actions, and your attitude. It's about shifting from why is this happening to me to what can I do about this. This shift is not easy. It requires honesty, courage, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. It requires you to look in the mirror and take a hard look at where you are, how you got there, and what you need to do to move forward. And that's not always a comfortable process. It's much easier to point fingers, to make excuses, to find reasons why something isn't your fault. But that comfort comes at a cost. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you small. Taking responsibility also means letting go of excuses. We all have reasons why we can't do something, why something is too hard, why it's not the right time. But the truth is, excuses are just stories we tell ourselves to avoid stepping into our power. They're a way of avoiding the discomfort of growth, the challenge of change, and the accountability that comes with taking charge of our lives. When you take responsibility, you stop making excuses. You start finding solutions. And let's be clear, taking responsibility is not about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes or always having it all together. It's about owning your mistakes when they happen. It's about saying, I messed up, and here's what I'm going to do to fix it. It's about learning from those mistakes instead of running from them. Because every mistake is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become better. Taking responsibility also means understanding the power of choice. Every day you are presented with choices. Some are big, like deciding to change careers or move to a new city. Others are small, like choosing how you spend your time or how you respond to a difficult situation. But every choice matters. Every choice adds up. And when you take responsibility, you start to see the connection between your choices and your outcomes. You start to realize that the life you want is built on the choices you make every day. And let's talk about accountability. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to do it all alone. It doesn't mean you can't ask for help, lean on others, or seek guidance when you need it. In fact, true responsibility often means knowing when to ask for help. It means being accountable not just to yourself, but to the people who support you, believe in you, and want to see you succeed. Taking responsibility also means taking ownership of your emotions. It's easy to blame others for how we feel. They made me angry or they hurt my feelings, but the truth is, no one has control over your emotions except you. When you take responsibility, you stop giving other people the power to dictate how you feel. You start recognizing that your emotions are your own, and you have the ability to manage them, to process them, and to choose how you respond. And here's something else taking responsibility is empowering. At first, it might feel heavy. It might feel like a burden. But the more you do it, the more you realize that taking responsibility is not about carrying the weight of the world. It's about stepping into your power. It's about realizing that you have the ability to change your life, no matter where you are or what you've been through. Taking responsibility also means letting go of entitlement. It means understanding that no one owes you anything. The world doesn't owe you success, happiness, or opportunities. Those things are earned through effort, commitment, and action. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for things to be handed to you. You start creating them for yourself. And taking responsibility isn't just about you. It's about the impact you have on others. It's about showing up for your family, your friends, your community, and the world in a way that reflects your values. It's about being someone others can rely on, someone who keeps their word, someone who takes responsibility not just for their own life, but for the way they contribute to the lives of others. Taking responsibility also means having the courage to face your fears. Fear is a natural part of life, but it's also one of the biggest barriers to growth. When you take responsibility, you stop letting fear control you. You start facing it head on, recognizing that fear is just a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone. And stepping out of your comfort zone is where all growth happens. Taking responsibility means being proactive instead of reactive. It means planning for the future instead of always reacting to the present. It means setting goals, creating a vision for your life, and taking deliberate steps to make that vision a reality. It's about understanding that the life you want won't just happen. It's something you have to create through consistent effort and intentional action. And perhaps most importantly, taking responsibility means believing in yourself. It means trusting that you have what it takes to handle whatever comes your way. It means knowing that you are capable, resourceful, and resilient. Because when you take responsibility, you stop waiting for someone else to save you, fix you, or make things better. You realize that everything you need is already within you. Setbacks are inevitable in life. No matter how carefully you plan, how hard you work, or how much you prepare, you will encounter moments when things don't go as expected. A failure, a rejection, a loss, these moments can feel like roadblocks, like the end of the road. But what if those setbacks were not the end? What if they were, in fact, the beginning? What if every setback you face was actually a setup for something greater? Turning setbacks into setups begins with perspective. It's about shifting the way you see challenges. Most people view setbacks as failures, as proof that they're not good enough, that their dream is impossible, or that they should quit. But setbacks are not failures, they are lessons. They are opportunities to grow, to learn, and to become better. They are moments that test your resilience, your determination, and your ability to adapt. When you face a setback, it's easy to feel defeated. It's easy to focus on what went wrong, on what you lost, on how unfair it feels. But dwelling on the negative only keeps you stuck. Turning a setback into a setup means looking beyond the immediate disappointment and asking, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? How can this prepare me for what's next? And let's talk about growth. Every setback you face has the potential to teach you something valuable. It can teach you about your strengths, your weaknesses, your priorities, and your values. It can show you where you need to improve, what you need to let go of, and what truly matters to you. It can push you to develop skills, habits, and mindsets that you never would have developed otherwise. Turning setbacks into setups also requires resilience. Resilience is not about pretending that everything is fine or ignoring your emotions. It's about acknowledging the pain, the frustration, and the disappointment, and then deciding to move forward anyway. It's about refusing to let a single moment define you or dictate your future. Resilience is what allows you to bounce back stronger, to rise higher, and to keep going when others would give up. And let's be real, setbacks are painful. They can shake your confidence, test your patience, and make you question everything. But pain is often the greatest teacher. Some of the most successful people in the world have faced unimaginable setbacks, yet they didn't let those moments break them. Instead, they used them as fuel. They turned their pain into purpose. They turned their struggles into strength. Turning setbacks into setups also requires patience. When you're in the middle of a setback, it can be hard to see the bigger picture. It can feel like everything is falling apart. But sometimes what feels like a setback is actually a redirection. Sometimes life is closing one door so that a better one can open. And sometimes the only way to see the blessing in a setback is to keep going, to trust the process, and to give yourself the time and space to grow. Let's talk about mindset. Your mindset is the key to turning setbacks into setups. If you believe that a setback is the end, it will be. But if you believe that it's a stepping stone, that it's part of the journey, that it's setting you up for something greater, then that's exactly what it will become. Your mindset shapes your reality. It determines whether you see obstacles as barriers or as opportunities. And here's the thing about setbacks, they often reveal what you're truly capable of. When everything is going smoothly, it's easy to feel confident, strong, and in control. But it's in the tough moments, the challenging moments, the moments when you feel like giving up, that your true strength is revealed. Setbacks test your character, your resolve, and your commitment to your goals. They show you what you're made of. Turning setbacks into setups also means being willing to adapt. Sometimes a setback is life's way of telling you that you need to change course. It's not a sign of failure, it's a sign of growth. It's an opportunity to reassess your goals, your strategies, and your priorities. It's a chance to pivot, to try something new, to explore a different path. And often that new path leads to something even better than what you originally envisioned. Turning setbacks into setups also requires action. It's not enough to simply think positively or wait for things to get better. You have to take action. You have to take action. You have to use what you've learned from the setback to move forward. You have to take that next step, even if it's small, even if it's scary, even if you're not sure where it will lead. Action is what turns a lesson into growth, a failure into success, and a setback into a setup. And let's talk about perspective again, because it's so important. When you're in the middle of a setback, it's easy to focus on the immediate pain, frustration, or disappointment. But sometimes the greatest blessings in life come disguised as setbacks. Sometimes the thing you thought was the worst thing that could happen turns out to be the best thing that ever happened to you. It's all about how you choose to see it. Turning setbacks into setups also means surrounding yourself with the right people. The people in your life can either help you rise above a setback or keep you stuck in it. You need people who believe in you, who encourage you, who remind you of your strength and potential. You need people who challenge you to see the bigger picture, who push you to keep going, and who celebrate your progress along the way. And let's not forget about faith. Whether it's faith in yourself, faith in a higher power, or faith in the process, having faith is essential. Faith gives you the strength to keep going when you can't see the path ahead. It gives you the courage to believe that something good can come from even the toughest situations, and it reminds you that setbacks are not the end of the story, they are just one chapter in a much bigger journey. Setbacks are a part of life, but they don't have to define your life. They are opportunities to grow, to learn, to adapt, and to rise higher than ever before. They are reminders of your strength, your resilience, and your ability to overcome. They are setups for something greater, something better, something you might not have even imagined yet. And when you choose to see them that way, when you choose to turn every setback into a setup, there is no limit to what you can achieve. In conclusion, setbacks are not the end of your story, they are the beginning of something greater. They are not meant to break you, but to build you, to shape you, to prepare you for what lies ahead. When you embrace setbacks as setups, you take control of your narrative, transforming challenges into stepping stones and obstacles into opportunities. The power lies within you to rise above any setback, to turn pain into purpose, and to channel every disappointment into determination. It's not about avoiding difficulties, it's about facing them with courage, resilience, and an unwavering belief that they are setting you up for a future far beyond your current imagination. So the next time you encounter a setback, pause and remind yourself, this is not where your story ends, this is where your breakthrough begins. Take the lessons, grow from the experience, and keep moving forward. Because every setback has the potential to become your greatest setup, and your story is far from over.